Hello, Heritage Church. I have the opportunity to say something for the first time I've never been able to say here at the Bettendorf campus. Welcome, Rock Island, to the simulcast. Yeah.
30 seconds.
Man. As you can tell, your Bettendorf family is very excited about this momentous occasion. And we want to thank you for the opportunity to demonstrate something we believe, and that is that we are one church in many locations. And so we thank you for joining us today in this beginning portion of the simulcast. Today we're going to continue in the book of Acts as we explore about the church on fire. That the first century church was an unstoppable force, which begs us to ask the question, what does that mean for us? What does that mean today? What does it mean for us to be a church on fire? Right here I have an ordinary Lego block. Now, to be honest with you, I don't think there's a such thing as an ordinary Lego block because I think Legos are pretty extraordinary invention altogether. But it's just an ordinary block until it gets placed in the hands of a master and they can create something really cool out of it. Not too long ago, something called the Art of the Brick was a show that traveled all over the world, and it was centered around the Lego block as its design element. Artists came from all over the world to submit their designs, and as they traveled the world, they showed them off. And some of them are really quite extraordinary. One such person, Nathan Sawalya, quit his job as a lawyer to focus just on designing Lego block art structures, and he has done some incredible things. It is said that he owns more Lego blocks than anyone else in the world. Another is web designer Sean Kinney. He began to make interesting designs out of his studio apartment in New York City, eventually quitting his job, and his designs are on art museums all over the world and corporations as well. These are just ordinary people with ordinary Legos accomplishing extraordinary things. Now, to put this in perspective for you, the 20-foot long Tyrannosaurus Rex that you see here is made of over 80,000 Lego bricks. And so in case you were thinking of building one on your own, the average cost of a Lego brick is about 10.4 cents each. So that Tyrannosaurus Rex will cost you around $832,000 to make. Ouch. And as Americans, we love a rags to riches story. We love a good underdog story. We love someone going from obscurity to fame. That's sort of kind of the American dream. Just like one of my wife's all-time favorite movies, Major League. Great movie. Actually, she hates this movie with all her heart. I learned a long time ago, if you wanted to get your wife to leave the room, just put this movie on. She'll be gone so fast your head will be spinning. And I don't understand why. I mean, besides the superb acting and the incredible razor-sharp intellectual wit of this movie, it's about a bunch of has-beens and never-beens coming together to accomplish something as a team they never could accomplish on their own. Man, that's the stuff of legends. How that thing didn't win an Oscar is beyond me. So why do I bring up Legos in Major League? Well, we come across a verse in Acts chapter 4 that has to do with the ordinary. Peter and John have been arrested by the religious leaders of their day, and they're being told not to talk about Jesus. And they were arrested because they healed a lame beggar. We pick this verse up in Acts chapter 4, verse 13, where it says this: when they saw the courage of Peter and John, that's the religious leaders, and realized that they were unschooled, ordinary men, they were astonished, and they took note that these men had been with Jesus. Notice the two words there, unschooled and ordinary. I think there's this lie that creeps into the church sometimes that people say, listen, I don't have the education, or I don't have the degree, or I haven't learned enough for God to use me. Or listen, I'm just an average person. Why would you expect extraordinary things out of me? I'm just an average Joe. But nothing could be further from the truth. In fact, the entire book of Exodus, what weaves its way through is this constant idea that God continually uses ordinary people to accomplish extraordinary things, that God wants to perform the extraordinary in your life, which leads to a question. Are you willing to allow God to do the extraordinary in your life? Are you willing to allow God to perform the extraordinary in your life? To find out more about what it means for God to work things from ordinary to extraordinary, I'm going to turn it back over to Dan at Rock Island, and we're going to continue learning here at the Bettendorf campus. Thanks for listening. Off to you, Dan.